another episode of Popcorn Heroes.
Yeah.
What's up? I am your host for today, Orlando.
Hey, Orlando.
Hey, man, what's up? And with me, as always, is Pedro.
Hello.
And today, guys, we are going to review X-Men Dark Phoenix. Or just Dark Phoenix?
So it depends. I guess in America, it's just Dark Phoenix.
Right. So yeah, we're reviewing the last installment of the X-Men franchise.
Yeah, for Fox.
Yeah, exactly.
Until the MCU gobbles that shit up. And we'll see what they do.
Exactly. And so like always, guys, we're going to do a synopsis of the movie. We're going to do a quick spoiler review, and then we're going to jump into right into spoilers. So, Pedro, take it away with our synopsis.
All right, so this is the continuation of the X-Men films. Takes place right after X-Men Apocalypse. And it pretty much it explains more about Jean Grey, her powers, her Phoenix Force. And it kind of explains how she gets it and how all the X-Men got to deal with it. And it involves all kinds of weird shit. There isn't really much to talk about without getting into spoilers, because I know the trailers didn't really dive into what the main conflict was. It just kind of goes into
she has it and
just her trying to control it, because it starts tempting her to do crazy shit. But yeah, if you're gonna watch this, you have to watch the other films so it could introduce you to who they are. But yeah, that's about it without getting into spoilers.
Yeah. For sure, at least watch the new series, basically starting with First Class, then Days of Future Past, followed by Apocalypse, then Dark Phoenix, to get all wrapped up, caught up into. That way, you know what's happening in Dark Phoenix. The originals really don't matter, since it's like a different timeline. Ever since Days of Future Past kind of like introduced an alternate timeline.
Yeah, just merging them both.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to start now with the spoiler-free review. And we're also then going to jump into spoilers.
Right after, yeah.
Yeah.
So, 1 out of 5. What do you give it?
So, I give it a 1.5.
Yeah. How come? So, that's between hate it and didn't like it.
Yeah, I always give out those weird numbers. And because I gave it like a 1.5 because I was thinking about, not that they're the same, but I was thinking about how I felt about Godzilla. You know, not to go on a weird tangent, but Godzilla, I gave a 2.5 around that mark.
So this is clearly
and then
worse.
I'm like, wait, well, this is not as good. I don't have any like good takeaways, so I need to drop this down a notch. So yeah, 1.5. I think the movie in general is terribly written. Like, it's just, the dialogue is just really bad. And it's like a teenager, like a high school like teenager wrote this movie. Like it's just really terrible dialogue choices. It just surrounds Jean Grey, so there really isn't any other conflict other than that. Like, there isn't any other like side plot really. And so since that's the only conflict, some of the characters are just there for filler. Just for filler. And typically, like, as all X-Men films, there are characters that are not, they don't have either any dialogue, or you don't know what their name is, and they're just there. Like, you're like, all right, I guess you're X-Men number 50 or whatever. So yeah, it's just overall, it's not a good movie. I have nothing positive to say about it. So what do you think?
I agree. I'm not going to give it that low, because there was at least Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy that I really enjoyed, but I'm still going to give it a 2. I didn't like it. I just straight up did not like it.
Yeah.
I came out of the movie thinking, fuck. I didn't like Apocalypse, but shit, it's still better than this.
Yeah.
And the acting was just not good.
Yeah. Even James McAvoy, I mean, granted, he's a great actor, but like, just the things they had him doing, I'm just like,
yeah.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, in the first half, they just had him go in a weird direction, but just the second half, I thought he did good, and so did Michael Fassbender doing good
it's just
Magneto.
When we get into those discussions, there's just like some scenes with James McAvoy, it's just like, why are you even here? Like, this is just annoying. But not to get into like, spoiler territory.
I do agree with you that since it centers around Jean Grey, I don't think Sophie Turner is that good an actress. It's crazy because on Game of Thrones, she's okay. But I don't know, outside of it, like here, I never thought, even in the last movie, I never thought she was any good as Jean Grey.
I do think she's a good actress. I just think it's not...
You think it's the writing?
I just think it's the writing.
I hope, but there's just something about it. I just don't feel anything. Like, there are even emotional scenes where I felt she could have really milked it, and she didn't. She's just kind of like bland.
Because sometimes we've seen her in this, and we've seen her in Game of Thrones. And in Game of Thrones, there are times where, like, especially like the later season, where she has to like hold her own in terms of like, hey, I've earned my place in terms of like what I'm doing. I don't want to do Game of Thrones spoilers if you don't watch Game of Thrones, but I've earned my place in sense of and where I'm at. It's believable.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's because in Game of Thrones we've seen that we only know her as a character.
I think so. I think that's what it is, man.
And so we only can judge her upon her ability and her acting as Sansa for like 8 years. We don't, with Jean Grey, we have the comics to go by. We have the previous X-Men movies to go by. We have
Famke
the cartoon.
Jensen.
Yeah. So we have a lot of Jean Grey's iterations to like compare it to. With Sansa, we only have one.
I mean, she wasn't the only one that was a bad actor. I thought that, what's his name? Ty Sheridan, who plays as Cyclops, Scott Summers.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, we've seen him in Ready Player One, and he was good in Ready Player One, as, But honestly, he's not good here. Yeah. Wasn't good in the last movie. He's not good in this one. There's just something about these New Mutants. I don't know. Hopefully it's the writing. Yeah. And not the act. Well, actually, hopefully nothing. The movie still sucked. But yeah, man.
Yeah, it's just the chemistry even between them didn't seem believable.
Like, they're dating. I don't know. I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling anything. I just know that Cyclops always is with Jean Grey, so that's just the way it is. But I didn't feel anything.
Right. And even I would say even the more acclaimed actors fell flat in this movie. Not like
you're talking about like Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes, Jennifer Lawrence was just like it wasn't bad, just bad dialogue.
To be fair, Jennifer Lawrence has never been that great in these movies, and not her, but I mean the character. They never really wrote anything useful. I felt like they didn't really do much with Mystique in these movies.
Right. I mean, most of the time, Mystique just seems like a...
It's just an excuse to have an Academy Award winner.
Yeah, and I mean, as a character, she's like the love interest, but also like the the X-Men prodigy. Like she's on this pedestal of like one of the best, but also like love interest, and it's her character floats around in this weird space.
It was in a weird love triangle, and then I'm the best of the best, and then fuck this, and
if she floats in a weird space of like.
She's like the gray side, really.
Yeah. So it doesn't. Since she plays a lot of roles in the X-Men movies, she doesn't really pick one. And then in this one, she's kind of like the leader of the X-Men.
Yeah.
And it's just they don't really give her time to show her like as a leader.
I know. Out of all these movies, they still don't do it.
Exactly. And so they kind of write her in a weird way, like in this movie too. So yeah, just overall, just the writing isn't great.
Yeah, and the actual villain's not so good either.
No, not really.
So yeah, that's it. Let's get right into it.
Yeah. So
spoilers away.
So basically, the X-Men are we know now. They've saved the world from apocalypse. They're
actually loved now.
They're loved right now by the humans, and everyone likes them, and the president calls them. They need anything.
Yeah, and then Professor X is like, oh wait, you need help? Yeah, we got you. Even though they don't want to help.
Yeah.
He's like, we have to help because if we stop helping, they'll start killing us.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like he has his own phone line to the president, which like for right now, it just reminded me of like the pop-up girls. The mayor calls the girls. And it's like, Mayor, we'll be right there. So
or where that came from, Batman, Adam West.
Okay, yeah, sure.
The bat phone.
All right, we all have different things to compare it to. I have pop-up girls. You have, whatever.
Batman.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, it reminded me of that, of like, he has a secret line to the president. And so they get called in that, a base, basically an Apollo.
Yeah, it's some type of space mission. Shit's getting real. They're
stuck in space, and they need the X-Men to go save them.
Yeah, they're in the path of like some space storm, what they can tell. So
like a solar flare.
Right, that's exactly what they thought it was. Yeah, solar flare.
Yeah, so the X-Men are tasked to go save them, and their ship isn't capable of going into space or withstanding it, but out of
No, it is. They're just not sure if it's like fully tested. So they're pretty much pushing the capabilities.
Right, exactly. It's not like it's never done this before, and it's not tested in that regard that if it can handle space travel. And Xavier throws that out on the window because Mystique is like, hey, listen, this is our first time. You might be putting us in jeopardy just to save these people. And Xavier is a little bit of like a hothead right now. Not hothead, but more of like...
He's a jerk.
Yeah, like we got to do this because they need us now.
Yeah, he has that for the greater good mentality. Like, not saying they're expendable, but yeah, they're kind of expendable as long as all the mutants are in the human eyes as good. So yeah, he puts them in danger when they really shouldn't. Yeah.
Right. So knowing that, he sends them off to space, and Nightcrawler... Was Nightcrawler in...
Yeah, that was Nightcrawler.
No, was he in Apocalypse?
Yeah, he was in Apocalypse. They put him in like cage fights and shit.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember at all.
Yeah.
So he goes and he teleports with what's his name? The speedster.
Oh yeah, with Quicksilver.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah.
And what's weird, because Quicksilver has been, since he's been introduced, he is consistently like the best character.
Right, but they use him the least.
And he never give him like that much shine. They always give him like one moment and that's it.
Yeah, the only thing that made sense was when they used him in Days of Future Past, because he had that amazing scene and he didn't really join the team, so it made sense. But ever since they put him on the team, they haven't really used him to his potential.
Yeah, it's so weird. They don't give him, and even not to use him to his potential, but just like he's clearly a crowd favorite. Why don't you just like put a side story around him a little bit just to give him some character development?
Yeah,
they don't really do that, and it's just like it's a kind of a waste of like you have this like fan favorite, use him, but you know.
Nope. They push him to the side pretty early in the film, and then they had that whole side plot where that could be his father or whatever, and they just really much ignore it.
Yeah,
he doesn't really confront it or anything, and it's like, all right, never mind.
So Quicksilver, Nightcrawler, they save the astronauts, but like always, they're missing one astronaut who went down to the pretty much the engine room of the ship to like keep it all like from blowing up.
Yeah.
And the solar flare is coming. It's about to take over the ship and pretty much cause it to explode. Jean Grey, everyone is like, okay, let's leave. But Xavier notices that the other
guy's still there.
She's like, oh, you guys got to go and save them. So he tells Jean Grey that she can do it. He believes in her, sends her off. Mystique obviously doesn't like this idea, but obliges anyway. And she goes off to save this astronaut. They go...
Yeah, it goes with Nightcrawler, but then...
Nightcrawler, right. They save the astronaut, but Jean Grey gets left behind. Solar flare attacks the ship. Mm-hmm. And the solar flare's energy is absorbed by Jean Grey.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, it's not a solar flare.
It's not a solar flare. And
Phoenix Force.
She comes back to the ship feeling kind of like sick and woozy, and they go back to Earth.
Yeah. And then while they're back, pretty much Mystique and Xavier have this fight where it's like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, which is warranted because he put them in danger
for no reason. Well, for a reason, sure, but I mean,
but like, you know, at the end of the day, like these are your people, your kind.
The way I always think about it is, dude, at the end of the day, these kids are students, and he treats them like a fucking special forces unit.
Yeah,
and it's like, it's really fucked up when you think about it. Yeah. So the comics do bring that up. They kind of always portray Xavier as kind of a douche. So it was kind of cool to see that the movies did go that route.
Yeah.
Or at least this movie went that route.
Yeah, so, which is warranted. It's just, once again, bad dialogue writing where they're talking and it's just like, you know, obviously they're going back and forth, and at the end she's just like...
Oh yeah, she does the maybe you should change the name from X-Men
to X-Woman because it seems like the women are always saving you. And it's just the way that line was delivered, it just sounded so...
Like really out of place.
Really out of place and just like shoot in there. And
Definitely.
And it was just wasn't... It's a weird sentence just to say, you know? Mm-hmm. And so like... For example,
like even when they said it, no one in the theater laughed at it. Everyone just kind of stayed quiet and went like, you maybe heard like one like, huh?
Yeah.
That's it. So it fell flat. It just didn't. The delivery wasn't good.
Yeah. You know, another movie that kind of did the same thing, but I mean, it's a better delivery, obviously, but it doesn't have a big payoff because we saw in the trailers was Men in Black.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it has a similar thing where like, Chris
the
Hemsworth,
men and women in black.
Yeah, exactly.
But they show it to show how kind of stupid he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and he even does a thumbs up, like, did I do good? Did I do good?
And then like that, like it's. I mean, I can understand a way, like, basically like it's trying to send a message of inclusion and stuff like that, but just the delivery in X-Men just wasn't good. Like it just wasn't. It just, that sentence, it's like a tongue twister just to say normally. So
everything's a tongue twister for you.
Yeah,
though,
of course. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true. But it just wasn't a good like line.
I get it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I didn't mean to insult you.
Cool beans.
Yeah, so we go back to the Xavier Institute.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of like celebrating, out like camping almost, or out in the woods, just kind of like doing their shit. Dazzler does like a cameo appearance where she's singing and shit, which is another X-Men from, the lore.
That's what I'm saying. Like they added, they add these X-Men and they don't.
They pretty much did that so people can go, oh my God, that's Dazzler. But really, we just went like, oh, cool. Well, when's the movie going to get good? Yeah. And I can't remember what it was that pissed her off. Was it the music? But she just starts like losing it, and she does like this explosion. She pretty much goes supernova.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think she's hearing voices in her head. That's what happened.
Oh yeah.
She starts hearing voices and
like sudden urge to just
and then she kind of like loses it, and then like a big energy wave pops off and like puts everybody back, and then she like collapses.
Yeah.
And then I guess she's in bed. Xavier is like testing out her brain, and like he's worried about her, so he's like, oh, let's run some tests, make sure he's okay.
Oh yeah, he's like the Cerebro or something.
Yeah. And well, before that though, I think it's when the aliens land.
Oh yeah, so this is where the real villains come in. So the aliens land, they're shapeshifters, and you see them crash this party, and then they fucking morph into them, and that's your villains.
Yeah.
So it looked a little weird because they looked straight up like the aliens from Signs.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys couldn't have done cooler looking aliens, whatever. But it was a little weird. I don't know too much about the Phoenix lore in the comics. I just know that there's like these other aliens called the Shi'ar, and then I know that has something to do with it. So they created this other not created, because I know this is an actual alien group called the Dabari.
Yeah.
But I don't remember them being a big part of the Phoenix lore, so I don't know why they kind of threw that in there. It's just, I don't know, maybe they weren't allowed to use the other ones, or maybe they thought the other ones were too fake because it's more of a civilized like society, and maybe that would have been a little too close to like Guardians or something. Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe.
It could be.
So they wanted to go a little more sci-fi-ish route. I don't know what they chose to do, but they were pretty fucking bland.
Yeah, pretty much.
They look like World War Z type zombies when they're fighting, and it just looked weird. And I know they're constantly healing, so when they're getting shot at, it's just, I don't know, it's just very bland, very boring. And
yeah,
I know,
they don't really have power. They're just really strong.
Yeah, they just run up to you, World War Z style, just attack you, and then that's it. And turn into you once in a while. But I don't know, just really wasn't feeling that. The whole antagonist thing was not.
Yeah, so basically they basically came to Earth because the solar flare is technically a weapon.
Right, it's the Phoenix Force that destroyed their planet.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So it's a weapon that pretty much consumes planets.
Right.
And so they want to harness that weapon to take over Earth and make that their new home as well. And also like wreak havoc, whatever. Mm-hmm. So they want to use basically Jean Grey because she has the Force. And if not use her, kill her and take it, the Force.
Yeah. So then you get what was her name? I'm trying to remember that actress name, the redhead. Jessica Chastain.
Yes.
Chastain.
Jessica Chastain.
Right.
Chastain.
I don't know. But yeah, so they have her. And
she's just a great actress, and it's like,
that's the other thing I was gonna say. I'm like, she's a good actress. There's a lot of good actors in this movie, but they just didn't get shit to work with.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really tell. I don't know. It's very bland. It was written very bland. And then the dialogue, like you said, can't even remember what it was, but there was so much dialogue back and forth where I'm like, this is just awkward.
Yeah.
And
one of the weird dialogue choices is like, man, what does she keep saying? Like, I hurt people, or like, every time
people get hurt.
People get hurt, or
it's
yeah, it was just weird dialogue choices.
Yeah.
So basically,
the next plot point is pretty much she says, I can't stay here anymore. Oh yeah, that's what it is. She finds out her father's alive.
Right.
Yes, because there was the accident where she pretty much got mad at her mom and accidentally caused a car accident when she was little. And Xavier had tweaked with her mind to make her think that both parents had died, not just the mother.
Right.
So she realized the father's alive, so she's going to go confront the father. And pretty much he's just like, get away from me. You killed your mom. You're a menace, whatever. So she just starts losing her shit and pretty much making the whole building. Actually, no, it wasn't her making the building shake, because there's even that one little cheesy line where he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, it's not me. Yeah, and that's when you see the X-Men come. You see the X-Men come in. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened was that as a kid, they're driving.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, they caused the accident.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that part is, they come down and Mystique is trying to like help her.
That was all a little weird too. The way it was filmed, like they parked so far from the house just to create like this showdown look. It almost reminded me of the showdown in like the airport in Civil War, where they're trying to make it look epic, but it really isn't, because there's only like a few people. So yeah.
It's weird that like, the thing is also like to understand is that the alien force, the Phoenix Force, makes her like
her urges.
Like she's technically like enraged.
Yeah.
So
yeah, whatever she wants or feels like. What do they call that part of your brain? The id.
Right.
Pretty much it's the id, like full blown,
amplified. Yeah. So basically, she is upset with Charles. So everyone on the X-Men is like an enemy, basically. Yeah. Even Scott. Mm-hmm. And so they try to take her down, and she fucking fucks them up, basically.
Oh yeah, and she fucks up Quicksilver, so that's his 5 seconds of
right. That's what I'm saying.
Time.
Like he tries to stop her, and then I think he tosses him to the side, basically.
So then Mystique is pretty much trying to talk her down, and Xavier's like, yeah, do it, you got this.
Yeah.
And Beast has a shot to actually take Jean Grey down, but then Xavier freezes him in place, so he doesn't take the shot. And then that's when I forgot what it was or that caused it. Oh, because the cops come in too and stuff like that.
Right.
And she starts pushing the cop cars and everything. And pretty much another explosion of rage comes in, and she pushes Mystique into like the wreckage of a building, and it stabs her.
Yeah.
And she fucking dies.
Basically, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. 20 minutes into the movie, they kill Mystique. Nice. Yeah. And I don't know. I didn't feel anything.
Me neither. No.
I guess that was a moment where you're supposed to go, oh my God, oh shit. But I'm just kind of like, all right. Yeah. I'm not really feeling it. And I don't know, and again, it goes back to the acting. I don't know. No one really, the only scene where I was like, all right, that's good acting is where Beast afterwards, where he like kind of has Charles sit down with him on the table, and he pretty much starts saying like you're being reckless. Why didn't you let me take the shot or whatever? Yeah. And he fucking like throws like the glass. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, finally some emotion here. So he's probably like one of the better actors.
They're all good actors. It's just like the writing is just terrible.
Yeah. So that was the only scene where I was kind of like, cool. I actually did like that scene.
Right.
They're back and forth where they both showed their sides to it, and it's like you understood both. I actually like that scene. I wish there was more shit like that in the movie.
And like they said, like it all goes back to Xavier. Like he's being like reckless. Like he's thinking about the image of the X-Men, but not the actual X-Men.
Right.
So like it's his fault technically why this all happened.
Right. He was thinking too much big picture, right, and not worrying about like the people. His family essentially. Yeah. So he was careless. I did like that. Like all of these things, like it's all good, but just the way that it happened.
The delivery.
The delivery just really wasn't good. What I thought was going to be good, but I didn't really care for either. So Jean Grey killed Mystique. She's on the run now, and she decides to go to Magneto to like, I don't know, ask for advice. Like, hey, what do you do with these sudden urges where you just want to fuck people up? What do you do? I can't control it. I need you to hide me here. And then Magneto sees that there's blood on her. He's like, whose blood is it? And she's just, ignoring it or whatever.
Right.
And then that's when the cops come there as well. And he's just trying to shoo them away. but she goes crazy and starts attacking the cops. And this was one of the parts that had me laughing in the theater, that it really wasn't supposed to be funny, where Jean Grey's trying to push the helicopter away and then Magneto's trying to like control it.
Yeah.
And he's doing like a, and it just looks so silly.
Yeah.
And then he's like, just go.
There's
and
another silly part, like similar to that later on. Yeah, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, psychic powers are essentially force powers, you know?
Yeah,
and so
it's very hard to make it visually like look cool.
Yeah.
So they're doing like a pushing and pulling the copter.
Yeah. But it's too long and it's too over exaggerated to be like this epic thing.
Yeah.
Especially when they're like focusing so much on like his like the camera literally focuses on Magneto. And his arms are wide out and he's shaking and
he's trying to win an Oscar for this.
He's like biting down and like he's like angry and he's grunting and it's a long, like it's like maybe like, you know, a couple of seconds focusing on that, and it's like it doesn't really sell like the magnitude of what's going on, because it's like, dude, I know this is not real and this is just like a movie, but it's like you're not really selling me on this. It could have been cool if like maybe it was like back and forth with like the helicopter going towards them.
I don't know what would have made it better,
but it just looked too cheesy.
Just something a little more visual. Yeah. It was just, it was off.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, pretty much he saves the people. Magneto actually saves the cops, because, you know, he doesn't want the cops attacking his people, because he has a group of refugees and whatnot.
But he's given an island basically by the government, which is weird, because Magneto has been pretty much trying to kill the president.
Yeah, it's just strange because it is in the comics, and I get they were referencing that, but it's still weird to see, because he did try to fucking assassinate the president.
Try to kill the president. He pretty much unleashed Apocalypse, I believe, right? Or no, Apocalypse came on his own accord.
That might have been why he got the island, though, because he did help with Apocalypse.
He did help, right.
Yeah.
But still, I mean...
I try to forget Apocalypse, because that one wasn't good.
Yeah.
And I'll try to forget this one as well. Yeah, so then pretty much the movie changes to the X-Men and Magneto have a common goal now, to take down Phoenix.
Right. And that's after, basically, this dude tells her, like, the Beast comes and tells her, like, hey, she killed... Mystique.
She killed Mystique,
which is interesting. I did like that, because like there's these two guys who
love the same woman,
and obviously Mystique and Magneto, they never clarify like if they had something.
No, it was more like a brother sister for them.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Always.
And they've always, like in the whole franchise, even the ones before with the old cast, you know, they've always had a very tight bond, and so it's like, okay, well, like. They kind of like put the differences aside to have one common goal. Like, let's go kill the woman that killed our love.
Right. Or at least, stop her or whatever.
Well, I mean, Magneto's and Beast is to kill her.
Was Beast still to kill her, though?
He was down. He was just like, get out of our way. Like, we're going to go kill this chick. Like, she has to be stopped. Like, she's too powerful.
I mean, I guess we can fast forward to the other awkward scene. The scene where they're all fighting in the street.
Right, and the scene I'm talking about is like the psychic duel. Where, Charles is like standing in the middle of the road, just holding his fingers to his temple.
Yeah, because Magneto also had one of his people that can control minds, so they're both controlling Nightcrawler,
who you don't know their name or anything, just a random like villain 500 over there.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they're both doing mind control, so they're both just looking intensely at Nightcrawler.
At Nightcrawler, yeah, because one was controlling Nightcrawler to do something, the other was controlling Nightcrawler to do something else. So they're both controlling Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler's kind of like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and then
it was so awkward.
The only reason why they need Nightcrawler is because his Xavier can't walk. He needs Nightcrawler to take him to the building. And it's like, dude, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Why is this here? Like, why? Like, I don't understand. Like, it was pointless to have him there.
No, the pointless thing, I mean, that was a little weird, but the pointless thing to me was when they actually start fighting in front of like a tour bus with people, and you see Cyclops just with no regard for anyone, just starts blasting his lasers like into the tour bus.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? There's people here. Like, I mean, come on. You're not being controlled by anybody. You're actually just doing that. So it was just an excuse to try and make the action scene intense, and it really wasn't. It was just...
I get it. Like, I understand why Xavier has to be there. He has to make amends for what he has done, basically.
Right.
But just the way they do it, it's just like, well, I can't walk. I need someone to take me to this location.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, you know what? In my opinion, he should have been like not in that scene. Like he could have been like in the Cerebro checking things out, and it should have been fucking Scott.
Well, I like that he was that scene in the streets. He shouldn't have been there, but the scene after that, where they're inside, and then she starts making him walk. I know it seemed a little silly or whatever as well, but I actually kind of like that scene that she was making him walk up there.
I do like that as well.
It could have been done a little bit better. Right. I think a little more, I don't know, dramatic or something, but I did like it. I know some people in the theater were laughing because they're like, oh my God, the nigga's walking. Yeah. Like, no, there was something cool about it to me to show how like, yeah, she's way above all of you. Because not even Xavier with powers can do shit like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think in my opinion, whatever, like it doesn't really matter like how it's done either way. Like he could have been like maybe at the ship, like just observing from a distance.
Right.
And then maybe she brought him towards him, whatever. But it's just that scene alone was just like, this is dumb.
I agree with that.
And then the fight scenes, like, okay, so we've seen superhero movies already, like 30 of them, you know, with DC.
At least.
Yeah, with DC, X-Men, Marvel. So we've seen them like back and forth. And so we know what a group of people, like a unit looks like, you know, especially with Marvel, where they'll like toss somebody into somebody else and then they'll like kick it off to somebody else.
Yeah.
And this is just everyone is doing their own thing and no one's really like communicating in terms of like...
Right. For this being a team movie, it didn't feel like team based at all. I agree.
They're very separate. And then like, even the shots, it's just like, okay, we're going to focus on this fight scene right here and then cut for this fight scene right here and then cut this fight scene over here.
I mean, that's normally how it works. But
right. But
I get what you're saying.
But sometimes it's more like, even though like it's different fight scenes, they're all like these fight scenes feel like in the like same place but like different places because their actions aren't really like affecting another person's like scene really, you know. In terms of like Marvel, where a fight scene was happening, but it still feels like they're in the same building. This all feels like different cuts. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I can get what you're saying.
And like I don't know, it just for we've seen superhero movies, so it's like do better. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, and in this part also, there was a could have been decent fight between Jean Grey and Magneto, where she just fucking totally just destroys him.
Right. Yeah.
Like breaks his signature mask, the helmet, to pretty much show that he ain't shit at this point. Yeah. He even almost crushes his face with it. But then you have Jessica Chastain's character absorbs some of his that's why I was trying to remember why she absorbed it. It's because Cyclops starts talking her down,
right? So
she's pretty much like, yeah, okay, maybe, you know, I don't have to do this. Like starting to control it. No, it was Xavier actually. It was Xavier exactly. Talking her down.
And the thing is, I would have preferred like fucking Beast maybe he came to his senses and like fucking
like talking her down.
No, and this guy fucking, what's this guy's name? Cyclops doing it. But it's like, okay, you're the love of my life. Cyclops is talking to her, and then it's like Beast says like, hey, listen, you killed the love of my life. Like both of them together, like, hey,
I guess,
like come back to us. Like we know, like you fucked up, but like let's focus like on. Like,
but it also makes sense as Xavier because it's his fault. She's in that situation.
Exactly. He has to make amends for what he has done.
Yeah, he's apologizing to it.
I get the reason why he is.
I mean, all three of them can't be there doing it. Like, hey, it's okay. Orlando, come on.
Yeah, you're right. I understand why he's there. It's just the way they got him there is like, fuck this.
You're just mad the motherfucker can't walk. And then he was there the whole time and couldn't walk.
It was just pointless for him to be there. It just didn't make any sense to me. But I understand he had to be there to
walk up the steps and talk her down.
Yeah, basically.
And then that's when this chick, which I actually just looked up, her name apparently was Vuk. Like VUK, which was never ever mentioned, not once in the entire movie, and there were subtitles when these fuckers were talking.
Makes sense why it was never mentioned.
Vuk, Vuk.
Imagine jokes.
Yeah. So she says, "All right, you ain't gonna be with us. Fine, I'll absorb some of your powers," and she absorbs some of it, so she gets some of the Phoenix Force. And then I can't even remember. Do they all just get caught right then and there? There's parts of this movie where I was just so fucking annoyed that I just kind of forgot.
Yes, Yeah. So
Oh
that's what
yeah,
happens.
yeah. That's what it is. The special forces come in.
The special forces come in and they all get caught.
Yeah, pretty much they capture everyone except alien chick. I think it's just alien chick. And yeah. So everyone gets caught and they're put on a train, a moving train, and pretty much. Oh yeah, so they're saying, guys, these aliens are gonna come up and just fuck you up. Like, let us go so that we can fight them. And then, of course, these World War Z type zombies, shape-shifting aliens, all show up on a helicopter, get on top of the train, start like just flailing people out of the way because they're super strong. And then, so the soldiers start fighting them, shooting bullet holes, and they're healing. And then finally, one of them starts freeing them.
Yeah, because they realize, oh shit, like we can't stop these guys. And
it's kind of weird that honestly they were like, they're not mutants, they're aliens. And then they're like, nah, they're mutants. And then somehow they're like, oh yeah, they are aliens. How do they know? How do they know it's not just shape shifting mutants?
Yeah,
that threw me off. I'm like, how the fuck do you know? I wouldn't know.
And then it's weird because like, okay, they're shooting at you, but then you still choose to be, because when they get shot, their face kind of like shows, like their alien side kind of like is like shown, and they choose to like go back to being human.
Oh yeah, that was
like, why
weird.
don't you just give up the jig? Jig is up.
Yeah, at this point, they know you're not human. Yeah.
Yeah, like let's see. Like I think it would have been like more terrifying for them to look alien and like busting through and stuff.
Yeah, the aliens from Signs just.
But it's just like regular ass like Joe down the street just has superpowers.
Pretty much, I think the gist of that was they didn't want to keep spending money on the budget to make them look like they're creatures. Can you imagine trying to do that?
CGI, but the CGI budget.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're paying the fucking actors. We might as well keep them there. But yeah, I agree with you. It's stupid that they're like, oh yeah, my skin's getting all torn up. Whoop, got to heal it back.
Yeah,
to look like Agent Joe Schmo. Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah,
that whole fight was just weird. The only thing again that I liked was when Magneto actually got all the guns, started fucking him up, and then he crushed the dude with the train. Like, visually, all that was really freaking cool.
That was actually the best part. Like, that was like a great
only
part,
his fight scenes. Everyone else's fight scenes, like Storm had a few good ones, but really it was just Magneto's fight with the aliens. It was the only one that was visually appealing.
Yeah,
all the others were pretty bland. Like Beast just flies around and chucks somebody out the window. I'm like, there's only so much of chucking out the window I can take. So but all that was pretty fucking bland. And it all builds up to just Jessica Chastain, Vuk, her character with her Phoenix Force versus Jean Grey with her Phoenix Force.
Yeah.
And this was another thing I fucking hated. They did this whole, to me, it's already a, what do they call it? Like a trope that's been done in a few movies. Hulk with Eric Bana for starters, where it's like, oh, you want to take my power? Take it all. And then they can't take it. I've seen this happen at least like 3 or 4 times.
Right.
So same thing. She's like, oh, let me get your Phoenix Force. And Jean Grey's like, fine, take it all. And she couldn't take it and self-destructs and they all blow up.
So yeah, that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, sacrificed herself.
Yeah. And so that part, there's another piece of dialogue that I'm like, what the fuck? It's just too corny.
Was it at the end then or before that?
No, at the end where Jessica Chastain's character is just like, your emotions make you weak.
Oh, yeah.
And then she grabs her, takes her all the way up to fucking Kingdom Come, all the way to the sky, and says, no, my emotions make me strong.
Yeah.
And gives her the Phoenix Force, and then she dies.
Yeah, that was...
And it's just...
It was really cheesy.
It's just like, not only they both die, because they both turn into like dust, and the Phoenix is shown. And it's just like, what the fuck?
They make you weak. No. Dramatic pause. They make me strong.
And the thing is that the thing is like, I get it. Like, I guess in the movie she has been emotional in the movie, but these emotions have made her strong in the movie because she's unleashing this fucking like terrible force on everyone when she gets angry.
Yeah. So they never. So
it's like, I don't understand. Even as I get it. The message is like, okay, embrace your feelings. If you're telling kids that, okay, cool. But as like in this movie, as a character wise, like your emotions throughout this whole movie has been making you fuck shit up like entirely. There's no reason for you to say they make you strong. We clearly know they're making you strong. You killed Mystique because they made you so strong.
Yeah. What she was meant was your feelings for like people, like that she actually gave a shit about her friends.
I get you.
So she's like, your friends, your family makes you weak would have been a little better, but still, my family makes me strong. Still would have been strange.
Yeah.
So no matter what, that dialogue was still bizarre, but that's what they meant.
Right.
But yeah, you got that, and I was like, oh wow, it's done. Ugh. Yeah.
That's terrible.
I didn't really care for it. But the reason why I didn't give it worse than a 2 was because honestly, it was the Michael Fassbender scenes, the James McAvoy scenes. They were decent.
Yeah.
In a not good movie, so I had to bump it up just a bit. So I don't hate the movie, but I really didn't like it. Like if it's on TV, I really don't want to watch it.
I don't hate it either. Like it's just
even if it's on, inevitably it's going to be all over fucking FX. Yeah. I'm not going to want to watch that.
It's just not a good movie.
It really isn't. I do not recommend it at all. Unfortunately, they had to end the movies with this. Okay, so actually, with something that bothered me about the lore of Phoenix in the movies is that in Apocalypse, they mention that she is like really strong and that Xavier knew about it and put these blocks in her head. So they pretty much hinted that she has the Phoenix Force in her already.
Well, supposedly she turned into the Phoenix in Apocalypse.
Exactly, she did, and then that's what helped her fight Apocalypse and all that stuff, and essentially win. So yeah,
so they forgot Apocalypse.
They forgot about it.
Yeah,
and then they were like, "JK, you got the Phoenix Force from an alien." It's like, nah, you got it when they unlocked the blocks in your mental blocks that Xavier put in there.
Yeah.
So they totally forgot about that. So they just did 2 different origins for Phoenix. So they couldn't make up their fucking mind. So that bothered me in an already bad movie that bothered me. So It was just fuel to the fire for me. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the end of it. And then they kind of showed like a phoenix flying over the sky at the end to kind of show like, we might still be back. But no, they won't. They're going to get swallowed up by MCU and hopefully make better movies.
Yeah, they also show, I guess, this dude taking over the Academy. The Jean Grey School of the Gifted now because in honor of her.
Oh yeah, because Beast took over.
Yeah, Beast took over.
Right, and then you see
Xavier in Paris playing chess with Magneto, like in retirement.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. So in the very first X-Men, that's how it starts off. Both of them are there playing chess. Not in that same exact spot, but they both play chess together. That's one of the reoccurring things they do when they're old. They did it in part 1. They did it in part 2 when he visited him in jail. So the chess. So I understood that.
Ooh, okay, that's pretty cool. Actually, that's a nice nod.
Yeah, so it's like we still stayed friends, and it was their way of, hey, now you can watch X-Men Part 1, and it'll still make sense. But no, it won't. Yeah, a little strange. But yeah, that's about all I want to say about. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, and so guys, that is it. That is our Dark Phoenix review. Do not watch it if you haven't watched it yet. It is not good. Just
only watch it if you're a really, really big fan. But honestly, if you're just have that superhero fatigue, stay away from this shit.
There's a ton of more movies to watch that are better than this. Dark World, Incredible Hulk is better than this. So watch those instead, I guess.
Agreed.
But yeah, guys, we'll catch you later and see you guys soon for another episode of Popcorn Heroes.
Bye-bye.
Later.